Alright boys, got the old Deus 2 Air version 200 with 11-inch coil. You know, you get to pick your poison with metal detectors, you know, which model you want to run, and then after you buy the model, you get to pick how you want to run it. Depending on how you run it, you know, it can do different things. Some things it can't do, some things it can do, and some things it can do better, some things it can do worse. Okay? You know, that old colonial nail nickel about 6.5 inches is still right there, boys. It ain't been bothered. I showed y'all the Manticore and give you a tip on using that old Manticore. Let me let you hear this old nickel. Hear that? We're crossing that old colonial nail. 62 in the window. Now that could be a gold ring down there. That could be laying in a sports field. That could be laying in a park. We don't know, you know, we don't. That's why we use metal detectors. I don't believe there's a human being alive that can take their eyes and see under the ground. Okay? So I'm in this bird dog system right now. I'll show it to you. I'm in sensitive program, 0 disc, silencer at 2, speed 2.5, 5 tones. Okay, and I went in here and set the first non-ferrous bend to 910. That's a high tune. Now you got to set that to what you want, okay? But I don't think you need it set too low, because if you're running 0 disc on this machine, and if you're gonna leave all your bends, you know, your tone volumes open, so you're gonna hear small falling stuff too. So anyway, I showed you this nickel in the bird dog program like this. Well, there's a lot of programs on this machine that'll hit that nickel like that. But what about like this? Like I showed the Manticore this morning. You hear that? Listen. So you're coming up on this target in the wild, and it's a nickel or a gold ring, for example. You hear that? You see that meter right there? You knowing how this machine, the tendency it can have, or information it can be giving you, thanks to the old sharpshooter, and you turned on that target, and you seen a 64, what might you do? Pretty common sense, huh? Now, we're going to go back in here to the sensitive program. We're going to bring the disc back up. We're going to put the machine back to 6.8. I won't mess with the 5-tone setup. I'll leave them as they are. I'll take the notch out of the machine. Alright, all the notch is gone. Now I'm even going to go in here and I'm going to lower the silencer. You heard silencer 2. Now we're in silencer 1. This is supposed to find even more stuff than silencer 2, right? Well, what about here? You hear that? You hear that iron tone? In a sports field, what are you liable to do right there? Are you going to turn on that or not? Wonder if you're at a site that's got some iron. Now, you don't have to be hunting loaded iron sights to use this. Remember, it only takes one nail. One nail. There could be one nail in this field right here that's masking a prize find. And old sharpshooter walks around out here and he never comes over it. He always comes over it like so. But again, I can turn on this target. Look at there. Hear that? Move that camera down where you can hear that. That's what this is about. It does work. It does have flaws. But hey, running a Deus 2 conventionally has flaws, folks. And every other VLF metal detector. You know, I can make a case. I can make a case in this video here, okay? I could go to a high iron site. You know, there's a guy who lives in Michigan, you know, when the Legend didn't have the iron filter put on it. Well, he was out there, oh, well, you don't really need an iron filter or an iron bias. All you got to do is grit a site. Okay, I get that part. I can make a case with this Deus 2, running this machine at a silencer of 0 or 1 versus a 2. In the end, time-wise, if we use this machine, I'm going to probably dig more iron at 0 and 1 than I am 2. And while I'm digging iron with 0 silencer, 1 silencer, and 2 silencer, I'm still sweeping a call. So in the end, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? I mean, am I going to find, how many finds am I going to find with silencer 1 or 0 that I'm not going to hear in 2 in a site? You know, we don't really hear that talked about a whole lot, do we? We don't hear it talked about. But I mean, I can make that case. You know, I can put this machine in silencer 3 and I can make the statement, well, it ain't really worth the trouble to run this machine at silencer 2 or 1 and use it. Right? Sure I could. But when you got a site that's been hit hard, maybe it's a large site. You know, this field I'm in right here is not overly big. But, you know, you're out in an open field relic hunt. Well, when you want to come over that right there and get a high tone, maybe the iron ain't so thick in your farm field. You still get to turn on the target. And a matter of fact, you know, I've actually been able to exploit the Deus 2 and the Manticore off of each other. How about that? I've learned things about this machine from the Manticore, and I've learned things from the Manticore based on this machine. How about that? So the only way you can get this machine right here on this scenario to compete with the Manticore is doing what I'm showing. Now, if you don't want to use it, you don't have to use it. But it's a fact, unless somebody else comes up with a show me a different way. It's the only way I found. You know, and I did share a video with this with the owner of XP. And, you know, he didn't say, well, sharpshooter, you know, that's a stretch, has no use, hang it up, nice try, go home. He didn't say that. Hunting a high iron sight is not easy no matter what detector you're running. Not even this one. Not the Manticore, not the E-Track, not an F70. Their high iron sights are not easy to hunt. Okay? I can tell you because I've done it. They're not easy to hunt. You go to a field that ain't got hardly any targets in it, hardly any iron, they'd probably be easier to hunt, wouldn't they? But remember, it only takes one nail. One nail can knock you out of a nice find, potentially, okay? One nail. You don't have to have 1,000 nails in a sight to be knocked out of a nice find with this detector, or the Manticore, or any other detector. It just takes one laying in the right place around a nice find. Well, that's going to conclude the video. I hope you enjoyed.